What is up, you lovely lot, and welcome back to Budget Cars and Bikes and a new video. Today we are going to look at a new tracking device, either for your car or your motorcycle. For me, specifically for my motorbike, the Ducati 1260 Multistrada, which I'm hoping you've seen the videos on. We are going to try to get a tracker in there today, because at that kind of price point, I think you really should have a tracker on your bike. You should have a tracker on your bike anyway, really, this day and age, because there are so many bike thefts out there that, you just never know. And as I said, we are going to try to get this on to the Multistrada. I'm hoping you've seen the video we did on the GF22, the mini tracker as well. I'll stick that in up here somewhere in a second. That was the little tiny tracker that ended up being a complete and utter scam, but it was only about 15 quid. You get what you pay for, and I almost got very badly scammed there. So as I said, if you haven't had a chance to check that out, then go along and see that video. But I decided to try another budget tracker and see how we get on with this one. This one I found from Aldi, of all places. If you know anything about Aldi, of course, in the UK, they are a budget-friendly supermarket, but they do often sell kind of products like tools and car parts and that kind of stuff, and they have this little tracker here. I'm hoping it's a little tracker. It looked quite small on the website when I bought it, and it came in at £35, reduced from £39. Well, £34.99, reduced from £39.99, so I thought I'd give it a try. Some of these do come with a SIM card, some don't. I don't know what to expect inside here, so we're going to open this up together. As always, I'm going to show you this in real time, as in this is exactly what you can expect to see, and we'll unbox it together as you would do if you decided to buy this. So I'm hoping that's going to be of some interest. So we are going to rip this open and see what we find inside. So there it is in its gloriness, the autoxs GPS tracking device. Locate lost or stolen vehicles. Apparently you can put this on your bike, your person, by the looks of things. It's got a little geezer sitting up here. Your car, your van, your caravan, your boat, whatever you like, and you basically track location, and it's accurate to 10 meters. You get location with Google Maps via SMS messaging with instantly live track location. What else can we got on here? Here we are. Now that's very, very interesting. We've got a 1p mobile SIM card included. Now I actually am with 1p mobile. I think they're brilliant. It's a pound, it's a penny a text, a penny, I think it's a megabyte per data, and a penny for each and every SMS you send. I use one, and I got one for my mother as well, and I've been using it for years. Really, really great value. Costs around about 40 quid for the entire year if you're on a pay-as-you-go. So check that out. 1p mobile, really, really useful. Great coverage as well. They use the EE network, the EE network, and it looks like they've also included one here, which is brilliant. It's not so great because I've just paid 10 quid for another one, because I was going to use that on that crappy GF22 tracker, which also needed a SIM. So now I've got a 10 quid SIM card upstairs, also from 1p mobile, but they've included one here. That's going to make things really, really easy to set up, because I know all about 1p mobile, and a SIM is included. On the back of the box, pretty much the same kind of info as you would expect to see on the front. Yeah, all right, well, let's get this open and see exactly what's going on inside the box. And there it is, the autoxs, the GPS tracker. Now, size-wise, I'm going to put in a clothes peg, just a normal clothes peg, so you can see exactly what sort of size we're talking about here. That's a clothes peg. That there is a razor blade, so you can see the kind of size that we're talking about. There's my finger as well, my index finger. It's tiny. It's really, really small. Yeah, I think you could pretty much put that anywhere you like. And there again, an overview of the size of this thing. It looks like we have got just a normal micro USB connector there. That looks to be the power button. No, there's the power button there. That I'm not so sure about. We will have to go through the instructions. A little barcode and some useless information on the back. From what I gather, you have to take out these 4 screws here and get to the SIM card in there and then activate it. What we're going to need to do, or rather what I'm going to need to do, is read through the instructions, and then I will come back and show you exactly how to set this thing up, and then we'll find a place to stick it on the bike. In the right side portion, as you can see here, we will have our data transfer and charging cable by the looks of things. There is a charger if you want to, let's just move that out of the way. There is a charging block as well, a kind of power supply, not a charging block, sorry. And this looks like it's a permanent power supply to the vehicle as well. Yeah, okay, I thought this was battery operated, but it looks like it's either or. So you can either have this as in plugged into, let me just get this out of here, plugged in to that little slot there, and it's a permanent, I mean, mean, if you needed something to be permanently powered up, as it were, on a boat that you didn't go to for maybe months at a time, and you had a bigger battery and you just wanted to have it constantly tracking movement, as it were. For my bike, it's right outside, so it's not that important. I'm not sure if I will give it a permanent power supply. I haven't thought about that because I didn't realise it came with one of these. So that is that. And obviously there, you keep this charged up with your charging cable as you would any other device of this kind of style. The rest of the box, we get a tiny little screwdriver. Fair enough, I suppose. There is the SIM just flopping about inside the box. It's a bit unusual because normally you get a little SIM holder. There is your user manual. Now that's not going to be a simple read because, as you can see, that's pretty thick for a user manual. Okay, your SIM, and we've got something else in here, bear with me. Okay, well, maybe this isn't the SIM, maybe these are SIM adapters. Yeah, that's probably the SIM adapters. Okay, well, that makes more sense then. And where's the SIM then? It doesn't appear that there is a SIM card in here. Now, that is very interesting because it did say that there was a SIM card. Now, where's the SIM card? Because there's no SIM card in there, that's just an adapter, and there's no SIM card in there. So, where's the SIM? That's very interesting. All right, we'll have to come back to that. I'll let you know exactly what I find out. Okay, well, I had a little bit of a look around and it suddenly occurred to me perhaps that the SIM card is already pre-installed. And as you can see, it is. You take out these little screws here. I'm not sure if that will show up there, but those are the little screws that retain the back part of the GPS tracker. And the SIM card is pre-installed there, so that makes things even simpler. I don't know why they bother to give you these little adapters here for the micro SIM and the normal SIM and the standard SIM, which it looks like it takes a standard old school kind of SIM card there, but it's pre-installed, so that's very useful. I was getting a little bit concerned then that we weren't going to actually have a SIM card, which would have made things a tad awkward, shall we say. So let's get everything out of the way over here, and I will put all this back together and I will read through this copious user manual here, and I will come back to you and I'll show you exactly how to set this up. It should be simplicity itself, in the respect that we'll just put the back on here and then you send X amount of text messages from your phone to this SIM card over here. Sometimes you actually have to activate the SIM on your phone, so I'll go through all that and I'll find out and I'll tell you exactly how to do it, so you know better than I do when you decide to buy one of these, if you do after watching this video, and it'll make things easier for you. So give me 2 seconds for you, but half an hour for me, and we'll come back to this and I'll show you exactly how to activate things. So, time to look at the user manual to make things a little bit simpler for you guys, hopefully. There is the autoxs again. We are going to basically look at the most basic of functions, how to set it up, how to use the SIM card, any notes that I found while I was setting this up, but I've obviously set mine up now, so I will go through this with you and tell you things that I found that you may need to consider and how easy it is, etc, etc. So, let's get into this. The first section simply talks about installing the new SIM card, but as we know, it comes with a 1P mobile SIM card pre-installed, so you don't need to worry about that's already in there. If for whatever reason you decide to use your own SIM, or if perhaps you get one of these which doesn't come with a pre-installed SIM, because I know these are branded all over the place by different companies. Now this obviously came from Aldi, as we know, so they've pre-installed a SIM, which is great, and it was the cheapest price I could find. On eBay they do sell these under different brand names, but as you will see from the pictures, they are exactly the same, but they may not come with a pre-installed SIM. So if that's the case, that little section there will tell you all about that. I don't need to worry about that, so I can't talk you through it. Ours was pre-installed, so that's kind of set up and ready to go. On the next page you will find the section that talks about registering your 1P mobile SIM card. It is simplicity itself. You effectively go to 1P mobile /Streetwize. That will take you to this section here, and once you've registered you'll get a message saying it may take a couple of minutes, and then they will drop down another picture which will show you this picture which talks about the APN and how to set that up, and we will talk about that in a second. The next thing you don't want to do is basically assign a number to your phone for the GPS tracker. Now when you saw me unboxing this, there was a little card that would have had the SIM card in it had it not been pre-installed. That has written on there your telephone number for that SIM, as in the SIM you put in the tracker, and it also has the PUT code that you will need to set up and register, as in this section over here, the SIM card to get it to work. And basically what I did is, as it says here, I just put in a new contact into my mobile phone GPS tracker with the number that's on that little card that houses the SIM card. Could not be simpler. Effectively then what you need to do is set up the tracker by sending a selection of little text messages to that number that you've put in on your phone. So effectively you pick up your phone, you go into your text messaging section, you you find GPS tracker and you send it lots of these following commands. The initial one being admin 123456 and your telephone number, as in the phone you're using to send that text. And there's a little example of it there. Could not be simpler. Now, the activation, the motion activation is set by default to be on. Now, that basically means that your tracker will go to sleep after 5 minutes of inactivity, but if somebody moves whatever the tracker is attached to, it will send you an SMS to say someone's moving it. You maybe need to go outside and have a look at it. If you don't want that set up, i.e. if you've got a garage and you work on your bike, or maybe you roll it out of the garage to wash it, that kind of stuff, you can just send the text command no shock 123456. That will deactivate it. Very, very simple. But I think there's a way to deactivate that, or at least set a perimeter around it on the app, which we'll talk about in a second. If you want to just ever so quickly make sure that everything's working as it should be with the basic GPS tracking, you send the command G123456 hashtag. That will effectively send a message to the tracker that says that you want to know where that tracker is. And on the next page, they will show you exactly what you've done and what you should see. Once you've set up the GPRS and all, the GPS, you should get this text message back. That will open up a Google Maps page, and that will tell you where you are or where the tracker is. Could not be simpler. To use the GPRS, which you will need to use the app, you need to set the APN settings. Now, you remember when we registered this SIM card, it did give you all the info you need there. I'll pop it up here again, so you can check that out. Very, very simple, but they do talk about how to find that if you need to. You shouldn't need to if you're buying this particular one, because as I said on the picture there, it shows you exactly what you need. And as always, they give you a little example here of the codes you might need. Really, really simple. It can seem quite daunting, obviously, when you see all these things and all these kind of SMSs and commands you need to send, but it really isn't as complicated as it seems, guys. They make things so much simpler in this manual. One of the most intuitive manuals I've ever seen, actually. Really, really large text, so much easier for an old boy like me to read. The one thing I would say is that the text messages that come back can take quite a while. I waited 5 minutes for one of the text messages to come back. I sent it again and then I got two. So admin okay came in twice. So you may, if it takes more than 4 or 5 minutes, send it again. You might get 2 texts back, but at least it tells you that it's working as it should do. And the text only costs a penny a text anyway, so it's no big deal. But it can take a while, so just be aware of that. They will come through, but you might need to give it a little bit of a nudge sometimes. To enable the GPRS, once you've done all this, it's simply GPRS 123456. That's one of the ones that took a bit of time to come back, and I had to send twice, and then got 2 saying that the GPRS was active. You'll know if the GPRS is active because the green light on the left-hand side on the top of the tracker will be flashing. If that's static, then the GPRS isn't working. Now, I did all this. Mine was still static, so what I did is I turned off the tracker, turned it back on again, so it kind of reset it after I sent all these commands, and it was fine. The green light started flashing, and I could use the app. And the app is brilliant. It's really, really easy to use, and I'm not sure if I've mentioned it before, but it also gives you a battery level indicator for the tracker as well. It's got its own internal battery, which will last 72 hours if you have it on the motion activation kind of function, as in it turns itself, goes to sleep effectively. If you have it set to that, it'll last you 3 days. If you don't, if you want it on constantly, it lasts 12 hours, so not a great deal of time. In the specs for this, they tell you it's a 5000 mAh battery. Can't see how that's possible, but yeah, okay, I think someone's got something wrong there, because a 5000 mAh battery should last a little bit longer than 12 hours in my opinion. But anyway, I digress. You can hardwire this in. Obviously, we've seen the hardwire block that goes into your bike if you want to do that. I'm not going to do that because it's very secure where my bike is. I'm only going to use the tracker when I'm going away, and it will last 3 days anyway. And if you wanted to, you could charge it on the go, because I've got a USB port hardwired into my bike, and if I want to, I can stay in a hotel for a couple of days, leave the tracker activated on motion activation, and then once we decide to head off to our next destination, I simply pop the tracker back in the bike, put it on charge. By the time I get to my next destination, 100% charged again. That's my theory. We are obviously going to cover this again in the updated version of this video in a couple of months' time, and I'll let you know any kind of negatives I've found and how that works out for me. So stay tuned to that, and we'll update you on that all. That is pretty much it, guys. That is all you need to set things up, to get things going. You can obviously go through this manual at your leisure. Take your time, watch this video back, pause it where you need to, but it's really, really simple. Everything is working as it should do. So here they talk about the TK Star GPS app. Now, if you go to the Google Play Store, if you're on Android, as I am, you will not find a TK Star GPS app. It's actually called WINS now. It's WINNES, I think, but it's the same app. You can see by the logo that it's the same app. Just download that, and and it's pretty intuitive. Again, you can just get into there. I'll stick a little picture of the user interface here, and you can see how useful that can be. That's useful for checking the battery level on the tracker as well, because it'll tell you right at the top, as long as GPRS is running, it'll tell you how much battery you've got left. Because for me, what I'm going to do, because there is no kind of sticky pads, they don't give you any sticky pads to put this tracker anywhere in your vehicle. There's no zip wires, there's nothing like that. You have basically got to get some, I don't know, you could use Velcro. I'm going to use Velcro because I'm not going to use it in my home necessarily, because I've got a very secure lockup. I don't need to. I don't really want to hardwire this in because I don't want it to be an additional drain on my motorcycle battery. So I'm only going to use it when I'm out and about in places that I might be a little bit concerned about, because the battery will last 72 hours, 3 days, just from a full charge. And you can always check the charge on the app, so that's kind of useful. And if need be, you can obviously, with a bike like mine that's got a USB charger in the back of the bike, you can just charge it up when you're out and about. As in, if you were to stay in a hotel for a couple of days, you can get back on your bike and then basically charge it up from your power source, which is on your bike as you're going, so not draining the battery. Hope that makes sense. But as I said, it will last 3 days on its own internal battery. You can hardwire it if you really want to, but as I said, you need to get some double-sided sticky back pads or something like that, some 3M pads, some Velcro, and work out where you want to put it, because those, oddly enough, aren't supplied in the kit. The added bonus of the TK Star app is that you get real live tracking data as well, not just from Google Maps where it was 5-10 minutes ago. You get live tracking, so I really would highly recommend you get that, but don't go looking for TK Star GPS. It doesn't exist. It's called Winds, all right? And I'll put the link in the description. This is not a sponsored video per se. This is just something I bought out of my own pocket, and I'm just trying to give you guys a heads up on it. So that is the setup instructions. What we'll do now is I'll show you ever so quickly what happens if the bike moves. If you've got it set up for motion activation, you will get an alert, basically an SMS message to tell you that the bike, the car, the boat, the child, the dog, whatever it might be, is moving. We'll highlight that right now in real time. I'll just pop over to the GPS tracker. We're in the spare room as usual. I'll pick it up. The first thing you'll notice is the lights start to flash, just like so. So if we just pop that on there, we should in any second now get a text. There it goes. We've just got a text message. There it is. GPRS motion activated. That told me within under 5 seconds that that tracker has moved. That's how useful that is, because I haven't set up a geofence yet. So as soon as it moves out of sleep mode, as in somebody moves anything you've got this on, that will send you a text message to tell you, which I think is brilliant. I really, really like that. Anyway, we will go into the final thought, tell you the features I like, tell you the features I don't, a couple of little notes as it were, and we'll finish off the video and I'll let you know whether I think this is worth having and whether you should get one. So in conclusion, what do we think of the autoxs GPS tracker from Aldi at $34.99? It seems pretty good so far. I've stuck a couple of pictures up on the left-hand side of the previous part of this video to show the app and where you need to go, that kind of stuff. I really hope that's been of some kind of use to you guys, because I couldn't find very much regarding this online, so I thought I'd make a quick video for you guys. Not sponsored, nothing like that. I've actually paid for this myself for a change, so yeah, let's hope it works. There are a couple of things to note. The buttons on the top, I will quickly show you if I can get this box open, bear with. The buttons on the top, the green one is the power button. You need to click that for 2 seconds apparently to get it to activate. You'll see the blue and the green lights come on to let you know it's activated. The SIM card is already in the device when you get it, at least it is from Aldi, and that's on 1p mobile, link in the description. So you don't need to worry about any of that. You get £1, I think they give you straight away, so it's actually $33.99 I suppose in that respect. And if you take out one of the 1p mobile 12 monthly contracts, it's £30 for the year. Now effectively what that means is that you will have your subscription, as it were. Although it's not subscription based per se, you'll have this activated and running for 12 months for 30 quid, which I think is a bargain, quite frankly. I mean, if you think about it, you could buy this for 35 quid and get, say, 2 years of tracking for 60 quid. So for less than 100 quid, you've got security, peace of mind, tracking with alerts and all that kind of good stuff for less than 100 quid, which I think is brilliant compared to some of the other ones out there, which are far more expensive. Other thing to note is the SMS actuation part of this device here. When you first try to set it up, as we went through earlier on, when you've got to send a text message to this device from your phone, it can take quite a while to get the SMS back, so don't panic. Just make sure you've typed everything in correctly and you will eventually get an SMS, but it's not instant. So when you send the message, it might take anything up to 3 to 4 minutes to get the APN registration successful or OK message back from this. That's probably just the processor inside it, because I don't find that problem with 1p mobile, generally speaking, using them as a network. So it's obviously something to do with this, but it does take a little little bit of time. Another thing to note is TK Star, the app, as it were, if you want to use that application, as we spoke about earlier on as well, which is with the geofencing, all that kind of stuff. It's not called TK Star on the Play Store anymore. It's called Wins, WINNES, I think it is. Again, I'll stick a picture up here. So when you go to the Play Store, it's exactly the same thing. But when you go to the Play Store, you won't find TK Star app. You will use the Wins. It's exactly the same. Hopefully I can put up a couple of screenshots just somewhere in here and you'll see what I mean. So just download that. You also need to activate the GPRS and the APN settings. Again, we've been through that. Really simple. One other quick note. When you do the password thing, right at the last minute, you have to put in APN 123456, I think it is, and password. It's not PASSWORD. It's PASSWD. I didn't get an SMS back and then it kept saying fail because I assumed it was actually the word password I was supposed to text. It's not. It's PASSWD. And then obviously, I think it's space 121, something like that. Anyway, it's all really easily mapped out and described in the instruction manual. I can't say enough about the instruction manual. Really simple. So I'm really hoping this has helped you guys out. $34.99. We get a quid's worth of free credits at $33.95 from Aldi. Free shipping next day as well. Got this the next day, so very impressed with that. I think this is going to be invaluable to me, at least. What I will do is I'll do a catch-up video on this once it's on the bike, and I've worked out where I'm going to put it, that kind of stuff, and I'm going to do a catch-up video, get somebody to try to work out where I am, as it were, from my phone. I'll leave my phone at home or something, take the bike out, see if they can track my movements, and I'll give you an update on this autoxs from Aldi. At least this one is. There are plenty of other people out there selling this, but I got this from Aldi because you get peace of mind, of course. Anyway, that's it. The autoxs GPS tracker. So far, very impressed. The app is very easy to use. Just a couple of things to note, which I'm hoping you've already picked up on. I've mentioned them in this last part of this video. Link is in the description. As I said, it's not promoted, not sponsored, nothing like that. Just a heads up for you guys. Hope it works. I'll be back once I've used this for a couple of months, and I'll give you an update on whether it actually does track the way that it's supposed to, or any other problems I've found. All right, thanks for watching. If you like this kind of stuff, please consider subscribing. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, a like, and a share, and we'll catch up in a couple of weeks. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Hope it helped.